I'm going to show you how to make a really fun applique pillow cover using your ScanNCut DX. From the home screen, I'm going to choose Pattern, and then I want these designs, and I'm going to navigate down. Now you can of course pick any design in your machine, a design you've scanned or anything like that, but I'm going for this bird pattern right here. Now you can see that this is in two pieces, right? This bird is a piece and the branches are a piece, and this is currently the default size, which is fine with me. So I'm going to say okay. And now I have my big piece, my bird piece, or if I want both pieces together, I can use this, which I don't. I want the pieces separately. The only thing I want to mention is if I want this to look exactly like this with the bird facing to the left, I'm going to have to flip this because I'll be cutting my fabric upside down. If I'm okay with it being the opposite, I can leave it alone. There's no words here and I don't need the bird to look in any particular direction, so I'm just going to leave it alone as is. So I say okay. There is my big branch. I just want one of them. I'm all set, so I say set. And now you can see here it is on my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and put my material down on my mat. I have a piece of fabric that has fusible on the back. The paper is still on here. Because this is such an intricate pattern, I want to keep the paper on it. So I'm putting it with the fabric pattern size down and the paper side is up facing me. I'm also using a mat which has a high-tack fabric support sheet on it. And that high-tack fabric support sheet makes this mat super sticky. If you want to learn more about the high-tack fabric support sheet, I do have a video on it. I'm just pulling up the edge now because I want to make sure this is 100% secure without any wrinkles. So now I'm ready to load this into my machine. And now I'm going to say okay and select cut. Because this pattern is so intricate, I'm actually going to go into the settings here and I'm going to change the cut speed all the way down to a 1. So once I do that, I can say okay, and then I'm ready to press start. Now that this is done cutting, I'm going to remove the mat. I'm going to peel back. You can see all of this off of the mat and get the next piece ready to go. I'm loading in my mat with the next piece of fabric, the fabric that I want to use for the bird. And now I'm going to choose select the next part, and it should be the bird. And sure enough, I can just go ahead and click on the bird and say, okay, there it is. I'm going to leave it alone, hit set. I do need to scan in my fabric, so I'm going to hit the scan button in order to place the bird on there perfectly. So now I'm dragging the bird so that it matches my scan. You can see my bird's a little too tall here. So instead of resizing it, I'm actually going to rotate it a little bit to get it to fit better. Because if I just rotate a tiny bit, you can see how it now fits on there. Since I'm not really worried about the straight of grain or anything like that, I can do this, and you can do it as much or as little as you want, but that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to say okay and okay again. One more time I'm okay. One more time I'm okay, and I'm going to say cut. You'll notice that the speed is still set to 1. So if I want to change this later when I'm cutting paper or something, I can. I just need to remember to do it. It's going to automatically stay at the 1 until I physically change it. So now I'm ready to press start. So just like that, my bird is done. So let's see if we can't peel away all of these bits and parts. And you can see here's the right side of the fabric. Now I do need to take the paper off, so I'm going to take the paper off and then we'll go to the ironing board. I'm here at the ironing board and I have just a pre-made pillow cover to make life easier. And now I have carefully smoothed out and laid out this first piece, the sort of wreath piece that we cut. It's a little bit fussy to get it all laid out, but if you sort of take your time and smooth it down, then you can see it's here. So now I have a hot iron set to the cotton setting, and I'm going to go ahead now and just hold it down in place and get this ironed down. So essentially, this process of using the iron is melting the fusible so that it adheres to the pillowcase. My goal is to have to sew as little as humanly possible, just so that it's decorative and not functional. So I want to make sure I'm doing a good job. I'm kind of just like tapping in a couple places to get it generally attached, and then I'll hold it down according to whatever the manufacturer's instructions are for the fusible web that you used. So just make sure that it's nice and held down. So now I'm ready to place my bird, and I can arrange the feet and the angle exactly as I wish. And once it looks good to me, you can get as picky as you want. Then I'm going to do the same thing where I take the hot iron and at first I just tack it down. So like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just making sure that's held down. And then again, according to the manufacturer's instructions of the fusible that you used, hold it in place and often with some pressure on the iron. So now you can see my bird is on here, my wreath is on here, and if I want to add some decorative stitching in the next step, I absolutely can. But this is, you know, there's no edges peeling up or coming up, so I know that this is pretty much good to go. I also wanted to point out that I did actually do the same pattern in a different colorway. So here you can see how much you can change the look of this just with different fabrics, right? The dark solid bird and the light wreath looks very different than what we've done on this side with sort of the dark wreath and the pattern bird. So let's head to the sewing machine. I'm here at my sewing machine. I've got a free motion foot on and my feed dogs are down. The other thing is I'm actually going to take off this container part so that I can get into the arm. And the reason for that is because my pillowcase actually has a zipper right here. This is a pre-made pillowcase. And so if I want to stitch, I basically want to put the pillowcase around that foot, right? So that I can actually stitch on just one layer of fabric. So again, this is going to be decorative stitching. It's not going to be anything functional. So now you can see all I did was just add a little bit of stitch detailing. It's really messy and fun, but it goes with the kind of bird's nest feeling. I didn't even touch this outside part, but I think it just makes it a little more tactile and special. And I did the other side as well, and you can see how it jazzes up that otherwise very plain looking bird. But this is such an easy project, and now all you need to do is slip a pillow in there and you are ready. Thanks for watching. For more tips, tricks, and tutorials, be sure to visit my blog at balzerdesigns.kitepad.com, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course, don't forget about the ScanNCut website at ScanNCut.com.